Good morning, and happy Friday to you, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR, Comcast 90 in Detroit, and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. And I have such an exciting show for you this morning, and Table Talk is going to be phenomenal too. We have some interesting people on Table Talk this morning. But let's talk about the 9 a.m. show here. I have Marvin Skipper and his mother, Adrian Caldwell. They're going to be talking about free food tomorrow, a food drive that they have every year, and this is the 4th annual food drive. First and foremost, though, my first guest is Eric Thompson Jr. I'm very impressed with this young man, and he wrote a book called Blame It on the Music. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let's talk. You know how to talk. I know you know how to rap.
Nah, I do poetry. I don't
I poetry too. So you hear out loud.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make sure everyone hears you. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good. I'm excited.
Well, I met Eric last month or early. When was it?
I think it was the end of October, maybe early November.
Right. He was selling his books, and it's called Blame It on the Music. And him being a wordsmith and in poetry too, he kind of bridges the gap with hip hop and rap, and he gets the positive message out of a lot of this too. Was that your intention?
Yes, because a lot of times I always heard about growing up how negative the music was, so I wanted to just draw from the positives I got out of it.
Okay, because some of it is negative.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. But I'm so happy that you wrote this book because you give people another way of looking at it.
Right.
And that's important. More than one perspective is very, very important. Let's talk a little about you.
Okay.
Where'd you grow up? Tell us all that statistical stuff.
Okay, so I grew up on the east side of Detroit, 48205 area code.
East side?
Yeah. So, yeah, I grew up on the east side. I went to elementary school in Detroit, and then when I got to 6th grade, I think, we moved to Clinton Township with my mother, me and my sisters. So I got like a different background. I seen different things. I went to close to Mount Clemens area, so, yeah.
So you found the culture a little different out there?
Oh, totally different.
What were the differences?
So going from predominantly black schools to like predominantly white schools was a culture shock. But I mean, it was different in a good way because you got to see a different perspective and a different way of living.
Right. And they got to see you.
Right.
And that's what's very important. It gives you a better view of the world.
Of course. Yeah, because after I got out of high school, I went to Michigan State, and I felt like a fish out of water, but it was a little different. It was a lot different than being in the hood.
Why'd you feel like a fish out of water?
Because even though I went to school in Clinton Township, I was still in Detroit, and I was like subjected to my neighborhood. So it was like I wasn't used to anything but my area, that little 5-block radius.
So what was your neighborhood like?
It was different, but it was fun, and a lot of stuff. It was violent, and we were young, so it was just normal to us, the things that we went through.
Yeah, what you grow up with becomes your norm.
Right.
And then, too, you know how to avoid certain things,
definitely. I seen a lot of people did not avoid things and get trapped, and I don't know why, but I was always conscious of that. And I paid attention to my surroundings almost to a fault. I used to be super paranoid about stuff that I shouldn't even think about, but I think that helped me survive a lot of stuff because I've been through a lot, and I've seen a lot of people go through and get caught up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think as we grow up, we see the different paths that people we know took.
Right, definitely.
And some of it is a cautionary tale.
Right.
Where you say, wow, I'm gonna stay away from
Yeah,
that.
and a lot of people don't catch the examples of what not to do, but I don't know why, but I always did.
Now, you first heard rap, because I read somewhere in your book that you first heard it. I forgot the song.
It was a Bone Thugs and Harmony song.
Yes, yes.
Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That's the name. But I just remember on the song, it was a lady it was a man speaking. He was like, "We're not against rap. We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs." And that always like rung in my head. I was in elementary school.
What did that mean to you?
Honestly,
Nothing then?
no,
And then
I didn't mean anything. I just remember hearing it, and then later on when I revisited, started writing, it just kept playing in my head over and over. I remember the car I was sitting in and everything in front of my school, like in elementary school. It's like
Really?
vivid in my mind. I don't know why.
Who was driving that car?
My auntie's boyfriend.
Oh, no wonder that was one. Yes.
He had a green Malibu, like a 1979 Malibu. I remember it
Wow.
like it was yesterday, and I was in like 3rd or 4th grade.
So that made an impression upon you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So then what? Did you start seeking out hip-hop or?
Not really. What it was my dad was an avid hip hop fan, so I used to just listen to the stuff that he listened to for the most part. Tupac, Jay-Z, Lauryn Hill, Nas, some
Yes.
of those artists.
Yes.
It's because of my father.
Oh, okay. So, have you ever done any rap?
No, I never rap. When I was in like 8th grade, I wrote like little raps, but I was too scared to perform. I did poetry though. I'm on the scene a little bit right now, doing like a couple open mics. I've had a few features and stuff like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's
people
different.
don't think so, but poetry could take you
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah. I've met so many people, and then like coupling it with my book, I've met so many people. I actually got a poetry book coming out next too.
Oh, that's wonderful, Eric. That's really wonderful. Because I remember when I wrote my first poem, in fact, I was teaching a class in the summer, and I just wrote, while the kids were working, I just wrote, my goodness, don't look at me with them their eyes. Are they full of truths or full of lies? And I went on and on.
Right.
And after they finished their work, I said, listen to this. And they said, who wrote that? I said, I did.
was me, right.
I was shocked. I didn't know it was in me. But anyway, it ended up taking me on 2 national tours.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of, and I opened up for Maya Angelou.
Wow.
I mean, it was just different things. You never know where that could take you. But
Right.
one way to help is get out there and talk about
Right.
it and perform.
Right.
Now, do you get out there and talk about your book?
Of course, I have lines in my poems just to like plug my book and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely do. I take it everywhere I go.
Now, you lost your mother on your birthday.
Yes, yes.
Gosh, I was so, that had to be devastating.
Yeah, it was. It's like something that still like lingers. It doesn't sting as much as it did back then, but I still like question
You were
like why.
14?
13. My
13.
13th birthday. Yep. Turned a teenager.
Wow. So, of course it had an impact,
Mm-hmm.
but did it have an impact on your writing?
Yeah, because it definitely had an impact on my writing. I felt like I didn't have nobody to talk to, so that's when I turned to writing a lot more. Like
Yeah.
I have stuff.
They
from
call
back
it
then.
catharsis.
Right, right.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. It definitely played a part of how I write.
Did you write anything about her?
Yes, definitely. It's in some in the book.
Right.
A couple poems. A lot of my poetry. I talk about her and the impact.
Well, it's funny, not funny, but the way the book is,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you have some lines from different rap songs.
Right, right.
I mean, from the 90s,
Yeah.
all the way through.
Right.
And you even have Conway. Kanye. I should
That's
say
the
Kanye.
old Kanye. The old
Yeah,
Kanye.
the old Kanye. But Waterfalls, and also there was one. I mean, I was impressed with so many things, and some of them have profanity in them, so I
Right.
couldn't say them here.
Right.
But let's talk about what's one of your favorite or impactful ones that you have in here that you want to talk about, and perhaps do the. See, you do some lines from
the song?
from the song, and then you talk about your interpretation, right?
I'll say. So you saying pick one of my favorites?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta look through it because.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's look through it and
Okay,
still talk.
I just stumbled upon one. This song called "So Ambitious" by Jay-Z, and I'm gonna just do one line. It says, "The motivation for me is them telling me what I could not be, And my interpretation, I don't even got to read the book. My interpretation of that is like a lot of people get doubters. I remember so many people telling me stuff that I wouldn't be and what I couldn't do, and it was like a motivating factor to
Right,
prove
but
them.
for some people, it motivated you, but for some people, especially, it depends who's saying it
That's
to you.
definitely true. That's definitely true. Because, like, if somebody close to you says certain things, that will make you believe. I was just listening to the radio, and they were saying something along those lines. Like, if a person that's close to you, like a parent or something, is telling you something like you're dumb or you're stupid or something like that, you might believe that.
Right. But so you say some of the people were telling you that, sometimes you express dreams you have.
Right.
And people try and down those
Yeah,
dreams.
and not even on purpose sometimes. People just try to hit you with reality and what's real to them.
Yes, it's
And
not within their reality.
Yeah, so like just because you can't see it don't mean that it's not possible. I feel
Right.
like any thought you think can lead to a possibility.
So after you graduated from high school, what did you do?
Okay, so I graduated from high school, didn't know nothing about college at all, but I got accepted into Michigan State University. So I went there.
Well, you weren't a slouch.
Yeah, I had decent grades in high school. I got accepted to Michigan State University. I wanted to play ball. I wasn't as good as basketball. Yeah, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. But so once I got up there, tried out, didn't make it. I came right back home. I was there for a semester maybe.
Really?
Yeah, because I felt like, and then at the time my father was laid off. It was a real struggle because he was laid off at the time, so I didn't have no cash coming in. I didn't know nothing about work, and I didn't have a job before until I got back home and was broke.
And then what did you do?
So okay, so I came home. I was going to church from actually when my mother died, we started going to church, me and my sisters. And
How many siblings?
I have 4 sisters.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you're the only
I
guy?
have only boy.
Oh, Lord, I bet you were spoiled.
Yeah, no, not at all. They was spoiled, not me. But yeah, so we went to church a lot, and when I came back home, I was still going to church, and they helped me get a job at McDonald's that was like literally right across the street from the church. And at the time, it was so embarrassing going from like Michigan State to McDonald's, but
Oh,
it's a
it
part of my
shouldn't be.
story.
Right.
I love it now, but at the time, I was embarrassed like a But yeah, I got a job right after I got out of school. Worked there for some years, and just was trying to find out what I wanted to do and find my niche. I went to 2 other colleges after that, and
What were you trying to major in?
I didn't even have a major. I was directionless.
You were
I
just
didn't know.
taking
Just
classes.
out there, yeah, just going because like you don't know what's next. I didn't know what to do, so I was just there.
Well, and then what?
And then okay, so I worked the whole time, off and on. Sometimes I've had jobs, and I just got tired of like the regular 9 to 5. I'm like, it's more to life than this. So I read this book called Caught Between a Dream and a Job, and it was like basically
Who was that by?
I can't even remember the author's name. I'm sorry.
I mean, because some of my viewers might want to.
I think his name is Delator Old
Well,
McNeil.
Caught Between a Dream and a Job.
Caught Between a Dream and a Job.
How was that inspirational?
It was very inspirational because like one of the first things, it was like a lesson they told you, like, what would you do for free that you're good at? And like I never thought about being a writer, and I always wrote. I never thought about that being a career, but the book like opened it up to me. And the funny part was I thought about public speaking first, and I've always been scared of public speaking or whatever, but I thought about that because the dude talked about how much money he made doing it, and then writing came right after that. So then that's when the book came. I started doing poetry, and then now I'm here.
now you're here.
Right.
What was that song? Now I'm here. What's the song that used to be? What was that? You know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
trying to think. I don't know.
Now we here.
Now we here.
I mean, that's the second part of it. The first part, you used to.
Oh, you talking about started from the bottom. You
Yeah.
talking about Drake. Okay, got you.
Started from the
I
bottom.
don't got no
but
Drake
now
in there, but yeah.
I'm here. Oh, you don't?
Nah.
Now, I'm just looking at one. The artist was Big Crit.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you, it starts off with, I shed tears and they won't come back. I said the word and they won't come back.
Mm-hmm.
My slot machine was broken this time. Isn't no tokens I can't redeem to preserve the focus of mine. So many died, and I'm scared it's just a matter of time. For I'm lifted myself. 6 people I know ain't been in church in a while. I heard I reap what I sow. What did this, and so you wrote Life is a Gamble.
Yep, that was the title of the song, actually. Life is a Gamble. And that reminds me of, okay, one of my friends got murdered in, I think it was 2013.
I got to ask you this. I got to stop you on this. When one of your friends got murdered, or you know of somebody dying, did it make you look at your own mortality?
Yes, very. That's what I wrote about in that too, because it was like, I felt like he was a guy like me. Like, I was never in the streets. Always try to keep my head on straight. Like, be one of a good person. And I felt like he was one of those type of people, and it made me look at my life like, dang, it could happen to anybody. Like, you're not invincible. That's what I don't know why I always thought that good people got better things, and that's not always the case.
That's not always the case. And that's why I brought this up, because what what Eric does, he takes words from these rappers or rap songs, and some of them I can't read aloud, but he finds a lesson in every one.
Right.
You know, it's funny, I had this conversation with Snoop Dogg once. This was a long time ago. I like that song, Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None.
That's funny.
I did. And I told him, I said, I really like that song. But the thing about it, when you really get into the lyrics. Yeah, but I can't share it with some of my friends because of the profanity and everything that's in it. And he told me, he said, I tried to cut down on the profanity in another album, and people didn't buy it.
So he just went with what he knew.
He just went with what he knew. You know. And at the time, he was wearing the jacket. On the back of all their jackets was Corleone, like the Godfather. And stuff. Now, recently, I just saw it. Did you see the movie The Irishman?
No, I keep hearing about it, though. I got to watch that.
Well, you better settle down for a long winter, because
that's the reason I haven't watched it.
3 hours and something.
That's the reason I haven't watched it.
But there's an interview that my former student directed that takes place in Robert De Niro's back room of his restaurant in California, where Nas is. It's Nas, Rick Ross, and Snoop, and this lady from ESPN, and this other person, and they were talking about the movie The Irishman. And Snoop says, I want Martin Scorsese to direct something for us. That's a gangster. I want to say, I thought that's already been done. But the thing is, why is this thing with the gangsterism so heavy?
Honestly, I can't explain it, because I mean, maybe because it's glamorized in society. But I honestly, I never gravitated towards it, so I can't really speak too much on it. I see a lot of people want to portray that, though, especially in music.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, you know, in music and in poetry, you could be who you want to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it brings upon life a different thing if you try to portray something you're not as well.
Absolutely, because sometimes forces come towards you.
Definitely,
thinking that you're this person.
Yes, because you're trying to be that, right.
Now, who is your favorite rapper?
Tupac.
Right.
He like my favorite person.
Didn't he do a song about Brenda?
I love that song too.
But he was an excellent actor.
Yes,
he was an excellent actor too, and he was really a nice guy, and he was really very, very smart.
Right.
Very, very smart. So he still is your favorite.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Can you tell me why?
Why? I just like the intellect, he had like a revolutionary spirit from his background, and just like how he spoke from his heart. Like, sometimes it wasn't always the right thing to say or the right thing to do, but it was pure.
I was listening to one that he did. Who was he talking about? The one where he dogs out somebody.
About Biggie Smalls.
Yes. Oh, Lord. I was listening. I said, dang.
Yeah, that was something different.
So, okay, what about a rapper who's alive today? Who would be your favorite?
Favorite? It's hard to pick one. I like Big Sean a lot.
Yeah.
Who else?
Why do you like Sean?
Because I feel like Sean represents like the average person. Like a guy like me, the nice guy. Like you could be a cool person or a nice person. You don't got to be gangster. You don't got to be street or none of that, and still get your point across. That's why I like him.
Yeah, and he is a nice person, and he does things in the community.
Right.
And he's still very devoted to Detroit.
Definitely.
So that's something that's good.
Definitely.
Do you like Drake?
Yeah, I like Drake. I like Drake's music. I don't know too much about the person.
Oh, right. When I say that, I'm talking about the music.
Yeah, definitely. I like Drake.
Now, another thing that impressed me about your book is that you have some of the old school singers in here. You have Anita Baker and so forth.
Right.
Tell me why you did that. Because it wasn't because this music affected you also?
Definitely. Like, you know how growing up, people my age, we heard a lot of the older music from our parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunties, stuff like that. So I felt like it would do a disservice not to include that. And I thought and I'm still actually thinking about doing it, but writing like a sequel and just putting like all old school music in it. Because I think that would be dope.
Of course, I think it'd be dope.
Right.
I love old school. I
Right.
love old school. But you got Trick in here, too.
Yeah.
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 We did a movie together.
For real?
Yeah, he's nice. He's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. He was cool.
There was one I was trying to find here. Guapole, you have Closer.
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh, that song is just beautiful.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to find the Anita Baker. And you have Cater to You, which was interesting. Is that what you want women to cater to you?
Yeah, I used to, I don't know why, but I used to love that song when I was younger, right? And I used to be embarrassed to listen to it. I'm like, I don't want nobody to hear me listening to it. But the song is talking about catering to a guy, so it's like 4 dudes.
Wow. Well, there's one you have in here, the one by Anita Baker, is I Love You Just Because.
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful song.
Yes, it is. Very.
What does that song mean to you? Just
Okay.
because I do.
Right. I feel like with love, like sometimes you can't even explain
can't
why you
explain
like
it.
somebody, why you love them, but it's just because. And that
Right.
song is like, it's perfect.
And the emotion that's in that song, too.
Yeah, it's a really good song.
Then you pick one of my favorites from my favorite group, The Temptations.
I knew what you was gonna say.
Yeah,
right.
Beauty's Only Skin Deep, and that
Right.
is so true.
Yes.
And that's relatable today, very much so, too.
Yes, because with social media, we got vanity and everything else, so it's like, that song was one of my favorites. Like, I seen the Temptation movie a lot growing up, and that was the first time I heard it. But like after seeing the movie, I go back and listen to the song and all that. So I really like that song.
Yeah, and well, let's look at a lot of the young ladies today. And sometimes I run across videos with people, young women fighting.
Right.
And the first thing they go for is that hair that's not theirs. And no, it's just, I mean, that's what I see. The first thing they do is go for the hair.
Right.
And to me, it just seems like they're going to pull their scalps out and stuff. But this whole thing with the hair down to there, and all of, my daughter part-time is a makeup artist. I mean, people come to get their makeup done just to go to a baby shower.
Yeah, you'll be surprised now how people are with their looks and not embracing who they are naturally.
I know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then as a dude, it's hard to speak on because you don't want to like look like you shaming women and doing certain things.
Right.
Like it's like their preference, so you just gotta let them go with what they go with, basically.
Now, Lizzo is a nice artist, but let's talk about it. Everyone, in case you don't know, Lizzo was at a L.A. Lakers game.
Right, yeah, I see.
And it was time people got up and danced, and Lizzo, she turned around and she had nothing on the backside except you could see the thong that came between her butt cheeks.
Cutout of her.
It was a cutout of her butt, and she started twerking and stuff like that. And a lot of people have dogged her out, and some have not dogged her out on it. And then I saw her saying, well, this has been me all the time.
Right.
I'm just curious, as a young man, what was your thought? Because they showed different artists who were in the audience looking at it, and they were like,
Yeah,
fall.
to me, it was shocking to see that at a family-friendly game that they allow her to even get in like that. Because I've seen people get put out for like wardrobe stuff all the time. So I was shocked to even see that they let her wear that in the game.
Yeah, well, I guess they didn't think she'd get up and turn to the
Yeah,
camera.
that's true. Yeah, or maybe they didn't see it because like it was a video of her walking and you couldn't see it until they got up close to her. So maybe she just slipped past people. But yeah, that was wild. I don't know about that.
I don't know because I know she defended it a lot and all of that, and I believe in people being themselves.
Yeah.
However, children were at that game.
And you got to know where you're at. Like you can't be yourself everywhere. Like especially something like that. Like that's violating other people's right to. Nobody want to see your butt.
Well, because this society wears clothes. And
Right,
I
right,
mean,
that's true.
It depends
That's
on the
true.
society, and like you say, the circumstance or the place.
Right, that's true.
Now, where can people buy your book?
Okay, my book is on Amazon.com, and it's also on my website, ericthompsonjr.com.
Blame it on the music. So what's next for you?
What's next? Right now, I'm taking like courses to become like a certified speaker and stuff like that, and I'm
Wait. Certified speaker.
Like,
How do you-
okay,
tell
so-
me about that.
okay. It's basically somebody made up a program, but you know who Eric Thomas is?
Yeah.
E.T., the hip hop preacher, the speaker. They have a program, and I'm looking to enroll into that to just take my speaking career to the next level.
I have to look that up. No, I do.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Because you can be a speaker
No, I'm
without
doing
all,
that. No, I'm
all
doing
of,
that as well.
without all,
That's true.
all of that.
That's
you
true.
know.
I understand that part. And then I'm writing another book as well. I'm almost done with my book, and I'm looking to put it out maybe January or February. I got a poetry book coming out.
Oh, great. Do you have a title?
Temporary title right now is Searching for Sanity.
Oh, I like that. I like your titles.
Thank you.
And but he has, after he has Blame It on the Music, he has Product of My Environment.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I feel like I am. Like, even the good and the bad. It made me who I am.
I know, but I think you're such a nice young man. I think you have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really, really do. And I'd loved, well, since I know you, I could be a witness to what's
Right,
going to happen
right.
happen to you
Right.
because you have an honesty there that
Thank you.
some people don't have.
Thank you.
You're not putting on a front.
Right.
And anybody would be lucky to have you come speak, come talk to their youth group.
Yeah, and I
too.
love doing that, too. I really love doing that. I coach basketball as well, so I love being involved with
Where
the
do you
kids.
coach?
I coach at my old high school, Clendale High School.
You do?
Yeah, I'm on the freshman basketball coach.
Oh, that's nice. That's really, really
Yeah.
nice. Well, I think everybody who can should work with young people.
Right, right. It keeps you young as well, like, and you get to see a different perspective. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you need to know what's going on because things change even since
Right.
you've been
Oh,
out of
yeah,
high
of
school.
course. A whole lot.
A lot has changed. Let me say this before we go. I remember somebody shot a film over at my school when I was teaching at Southfield. They wanted to shoot a film, and a short film. It was after school and stuff. And in the film, there was a fight scene between these two young men.
Right.
And that was when I saw the kids take out the phone. I said, "What are you all doing?" They said, "We're filming the fight."
Right.
That was in the beginning of filming the fight. Now everything is filmed.
It's everything's on cameras now. That's crazy.
And so you got to be careful what you do. So, Eric, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. The book is Blame It on the Music by Eric Thompson Jr. He also has a website by that name. And it's really worth it because this book is really comprehensive and he explains different things that you could get out of different hip-hop songs and so forth.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to be able to say I knew him when.
Right, right.
I'll be back in just a moment.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2,
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
Hi, this is LaWanda.
This is RJ Watkins.
Coming to you to bring you some information about the #1 detox in the nation, Lemon Burn. Lemon Burn helps to turn the fat into fit. It's for you, a happier, healthier you. Because you know healthy is the new beautiful. An all-natural way to improve your health. It promotes a healthy digestive system, attacks and reduces belly fat, as well as gives you energy. Need to get yours today. Call 313-868-6612.
Don't forget to exercise and eat right.
The environment is so friendly. Always feel like home.
We have so much support from the staff. You meet people who are like you.
I always had a passion to help others, so this is the perfect place for me.
You're not afraid to reach out. Flora Kiwang, Cameroon.
Makrit Shonga, Ethiopia.
Javed Khan, Bangladesh. Dennis Carrick, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
They give you what you need for the future.
I am back. I have, during the holidays, there are a lot of people who don't have the advantage of having food and all of this just handy to them. There's still a lot of poverty in our city. I have with me two people, well, they're related, but they're so good. That's all only thing I can say about them. They're so good. And this is their 4th annual food giveaway. So I think you need to listen to this. We have Adrian Caldwell and her son, Marvin Skipper. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, you're back. This is the 3rd time you're on my show to talk about this, the food drive. And let's first talk a little about why. What was the reason, Marvin? Let's talk about you and your organization too. So give a little background.
Went to Detroit Persian, played ball there. Long story short, going to college, they found out I had a heart problem.
Right.
So they had to wind up putting a defibrillator in me.
Yes.
So my goal was always, 1, to get my family out the neighborhood, and 2, to get back to my community. So when I graduated from college, I'm like, what?
What college?
Eastern Michigan.
Oh, my college.
Yeah, go Eagles.
Well, when I was around, it was the Indian name.
The Hurons.
Hurons, right. I'm cool with Indians. I like that. Anyway.
So I just always wanted to figure out how can I get back to my neighborhood as if I went to the NBA. 2015 is when I started Youth Are Bigger Than Life. This is our 4th grocery giveaway. We do back-to-school drives, giving backpacks, supplies, get the guy's hair cut, the girl's hair braided. So just trying to touch base with my neighborhood as much as I can.
Community.
Yeah.
Community. That's so important. Now, with this being your mom, sister, twin, how did she impact you growing up to make you feel like this?
My mom did. She was a hell of a woman, if I can cuss on here. I don't know if I can, but...
Well, you did.
But just single mom raising me and my sister. Just got the utmost respect for her because she made it happen. We didn't miss a meal. I always got to all my basketball camps and games, so I have nothing but love for this woman that's sitting to the right of me.
Right, right. And Adrian, were there any times, well, I know too, you know, because after my divorce, I was raising my kids, including a couple of athletes. Was it sometimes, didn't you get tired a little bit? I mean, because with someone as active as him, he played basketball year round.
Yes, he did. And yes, I did get tired, but I looked at the long-term goals.
Right.
For him.
Right.
And I kept it to moving.
Because sometimes as a parent, you sacrifice things for
Definitely.
yourself so that your children could have
Definitely.
a future. So you went to Pershing and you've decided to do the food drive at Pershing, correct?
Yes, all my events I try to do at Persian just because that's where I. Don't get me wrong, Nolan.
No boy.
Yeah. That's my heart. That's the last memories I got playing basketball. That's just the last community that showed me a lot of love, if that makes sense. So I always
No,
want
it
to
does make
go back
sense.
and show love as well, just to show the neighborhood. I appreciate you paying the $2-4 to come to a game when I was playing, or even now. You know, just showing a lot of love.
Right, right. And a lot of people turn their backs on their community when they grow and start prospering. Can you tell us, okay, you developed the organization. Do you do any things with the young people outside of giving backpacks and stuff like that?
Of course, yeah, I mentor them. So I have maybe 3 or 4 mentees that I have now. One went to Montfort, but he transferred to, I believe, Clendale, if I'm not mistaken. Long story short, Montfort, he was not doing too good, and I came into his life and I said, look, we need to turn this around. And then I believe yesterday or the day before yesterday, he wrote me on Instagram, was like, you know what? They call me Big Skip. So he was like, hey, Skip, you know, just a FYI, my mom went to parent-teacher conference and I got all my grades up. So
Oh, great.
those are the stories. Or when I come back, I always go back to talk to the kids at Persian. I mentor the kids at Persian. So I'm still in the community, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does make sense. It does make sense. In fact, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense not to be involved
Yeah.
with the people in the community. So, Adrian, what do you do with the organization?
Well, I help wherever Marvin needs me.
I know.
Normally, I'm sitting at the sign-in table.
Uh-huh.
And you come and you sign in, and the names and numbers we use for the next year to invite them back.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow, it's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow being the 14th of December.
Yep.
Wow. This year went by quick.
It definitely
Definitely.
did.
Yes,
It seems like I was just saying Happy New Year last week.
Yeah, for sure.
So tomorrow, the 14th, at Pershing over on Ryan Road,
Yep.
Ryan and 7 Mile,
Yes,
isn't
ma'am.
right on the corner.
it? Right on the corner. Where at Pershing do you do this?
In the parking lot. So we outside. In
You're
the parking lot.
outside.
So it's right there on 7 Mile of Ryan. We'll be in that parking lot, kitty corner. So you actually see us and see the food truck. And
So how do people qualify to get this food, or they just come? Or-
a lot of families reached out to me on Facebook who needs the help. So I told them to come, and then it's a few drop-offs I'm going to do as well, because some of the parents don't have cars. Some of the mothers don't have cars.
Right.
So either I'm going to leave the event to drop the food off, or I'm going to pack my truck up and just take it to them afterwards. But me and my board always go back and forth with that. Like, well, what if the people don't need the food? What if they do? Blase split. But my biggest thing it's hard to gauge. But my biggest thing is just the community reach. I don't care if you need it or if you don't. Just doing something in the community
Well,
positive.
you know they're going to use it.
Yeah,
You
but-
know
yeah.
everybody's going to use it. Now, it starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of food items do they get?
So we touch all the pyramid on the food scale. So the rice, the cereal.
Listen to that, the pyramid.
Well, I heard.
I'm looking at that food pyramid.
So I heard it changed when Michelle Obama got in office, and it changed to a plate.
Oh, she just had all that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, every food group that's on there, we actually touch in the milk, eggs, cereal, something to drink, vegetables, meat.
What kind of meat?
Last year we had ground beef, ground chuck, and pork chops. The year before that we had ground turkey and chicken.
Wow. What you having tomorrow?
So they tell us in the morning.
Oh, okay.
When they pack it up, I get an email, hey, you should have this, you should have that, and then we just go for it from there.
This is wonderful. Where do you see your organization going? Where do you see 5 years from now?
5 years, I plan to have a building, something like the Boys and Girls Club. It doesn't have to be on that scale. It could be a small little office building, but somewhere where people can come get help. If they need help with the gas bill, light bill, things of that nature, for them to be able to come to this building and get help, or if kids need tutoring, oh, I don't know how to do this homework, or I need help with this, or I need to get on the computer. I want this to be a spot where they can come.
Community service, that's what you're doing, community service. And tell me this, did you have him doing any community service, or, where did you learn this sense of community?
So Steve Smith went to Detroit Persian.
Right. Played basketball.
Yeah, one of my good mentors, and John Bernard is another good mentor of mine as well.
John Bernard, isn't his sister Linda Bernard?
Yes.
We went to this little Catholic school together. I really don't know John. He was like 2 or 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And Linda was a year. I know her. But wow.
So them are two of my great mentors, and they always tell me, because they reach back to me. So they always tell me the way you can pay that forward is reaching back to somebody behind you.
Right, you have to pay it forward.
And that's all they ask. They never ask for no money back, no clothes back, no anything. They always just told me, hey, make sure when you do get to a place in your life where you can help, you help. And I feel like I'm not the richest guy, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I can be able to help right now, if that makes sense.
You're going to heaven.
Definitely.
Anyway, so are you, lady. So are you. But so you see yourself having a building and being able to help people beyond the food drive, beyond the backpack drive.
Yeah.
With the backpack is so, you know what I always envision as far as the backpack drive, because I have friends who have them at the fire stations and so forth. What I envision is follow up with these kids. Because we give away the nice things, the nice backpack with the pencils, the notebooks, all of that. But I would love to see what these young people are doing. Check with them 2 months later to see, maybe pick 5 kids out of there and just say, how you doing? Keep up. Because sometimes when they know people care, or other people outside the home, because you never know what's going on inside the home. And you can't take for granted that nothing's going on inside the home. See, and this is something that really used to bother me, was I remember when one of the Dan Quayle it was some election. He was running for vice president with somebody. I guess it was Bush, with the first Bush. And they kept on saying single parents, they can't, we got to help the single parents because they're really not doing anything. And you're pure, you are pure that you've done a lot. You can't take for granted that single parents don't do anything. And they can use the assistance and so forth, but there's some 2-parent homes where people aren't doing anything either.
That's true.
Yeah, so you just can't take for granted about different homes. But it would be nice to follow up with young people with the backpack drive.
So just to piggyback on that, I do. So you got to think most of the kids that come to this, I know personally, from some being younger, some being older. So I'm still involved with their life, making sure their grades are straight, making sure if they need something, just call me. I'm only a call away. So that's one thing I always extend that olive branch to all the kids who I always encounter, because you never know who you might need or when you might get that 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock call in the morning.
Absolutely. It's so funny because, I taught for 39 years, and somebody said to me once, is your number on all the bathroom stalls or something? Because the kids are always calling and everything. But I feel once I'm in your life, I'm in your life.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important. Do you ever talk to any of the children, Adrian?
No, but I will start.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Because, and not only the children, the mothers, some may be open to how you did it. Because sometimes you sit up and a lot of times we don't look like what we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell them how sometimes it might have been difficult.
Definitely.
But this is what I did, because some people give up hope.
Yeah. Well, the city has sucked the hope out you. The city is just so dull. It has sucked the hope out you.
Yeah. And if you're living in, I think about Eric, who was just on, and he was talking about his neighborhood and how different people ended up different ways, you know. And that's probably, that happens over there.
Oh,
it
yeah.
happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere, for sure.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm sure at this time you probably know people you went to school with who have children now and so forth.
So they come to the program, they always support. That's one thing I can say. Once I started this, I didn't expect to get so much love, you know what I'm saying, from my friends, from my family members, from colleagues. It's amazing. God is good. I tell everybody that.
All day long.
Right, all day long. And how did you, so many people walk away from the city. I know of people who made their bones here as in high school and they went to college. Then they moved on to either Chicago, LA, New York, for other opportunities. When Detroit is making this so-called renaissance, but the renaissance isn't all in the neighborhoods.
It's not.
I just don't, I'm wondering when they're going to catch up.
Probably when it's too late. That's what, when it's too late. People always, I think the biggest fear of people not really coming back is two things. Fear and then just being nervous. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like being on a certain statue that they can't be around certain people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but it's all in their head.
Yeah, and then you got to think that a lot of times, too, a lot of people who haven't been to Detroit or who was in Detroit earlier and then leave, all they see is what's on that TV. So if, you're thinking about pastors getting robbed and old ladies getting beat up and stuff like that, you're like, wow, it's gotten that bad. But really, if you really tap in, you'll actually see what's really going on. If that's not happening in every neighborhood. And if we had enough people, our women would be more safer. These kids would be more safer if a lot of people came back to make sure everybody was okay.
Well, what bothers me is the fact that they lead on the news with all the bad news, wherein there are people like you, people like Eric, other people who are doing good things. Why can't they lead with you? Don't you agree?
Yes.
Because if I were a visitor coming to town, and I'm in my hotel room and I'm watching television or watching the news, that's going to formulate my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just not unfair.
Yeah.
It's wrong, and I noticed that because you work out of state.
Yeah, I do. In Ohio.
And I watch the television when I go there. Same thing in the urban areas. They'll lead with something bad that has happened in Columbus. And I guess that's to get the audience's attention because the audience likes bad news stories.
Yeah, they do.
But it formulates their thoughts on different ethnic groups.
Yeah,
Don't you agree?
Even for with the job I do, so I'm a service and parts rep, and I'm in most of the dealerships every day, 2 times a day, going to see different dealerships. And one of my parts managers was like, is Detroit really that rough? I'm like, yeah, but everywhere you go, got places rough. But we have good parts as well, and she's a woman. She was like, well, I'd be kind of nervous to go to Detroit. I was like, you know what? I told her about the food drive. I say, come to the annual food drive, and when you get here, I'll show you around Detroit. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll show you. You'll be safe. Don't worry about it. So she's actually coming tomorrow to the food drive. So I could because one thing people don't understand is if you don't bring people into your world, they can never understand your world. All they can understand is what's on the TV.
Right.
Detroit ain't that bad.
No, it's not. It really is.
It's not that bad. To me, what I'm saying? It's not that bad. So, especially being in the corporate world, I try to incorporate the corporate world with what I do so they can see the inner city of Detroit, not just the downtown Detroit.
It's not that bad. No, it's not. And a lot of times you know what to do. I hate to say it. You know what to do, where to go at different times.
Yeah.
You know where you could be in a precarious situation, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very, very important that people realize that Detroit isn't what the media says it is. It's good. It's really good. The best people I know, the best people we know are from Detroit. And Detroit is where you grew up, where I grew up. It makes us who we are.
Absolutely.
And so this food drive tomorrow, 10 o'clock. 10 to what?
Usually it goes from 2 to 3 hours till the food's gone. But from the social media and the presence we've been getting, I think it might be gone probably in 2 hours because it's entitled for a lot of people to come.
So people should line up?
Yeah, so this year we're going to do a little bit different. Usually you just pull up. If you're in the car, we'll just put it in the car. Now you got to actually park, get out, stand in line, sign the papers, and then get the food. We'll still help you take the food to the car and things of that nature, but we got to get a little bit more organized.
Wait. Okay, let me understand this. So if I come in, I won't be coming, but I'd want to come. No, but you come in the parking lot.
Well, it's 3 parking lots surrounding the school. So it's the one we're going to be in. It's one in the back by where the teachers park at, and then there's one in the back by the gymnasium. So you can park in any 3 of those parking spots. If you're older or don't really feel like taking that walk, we'll figure something out. But this year we're going to do it we got to get more organized, if that makes sense, not just real sloppy like how we were in the previous years.
Right. Well, you learn. You really, really learn.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. And you sit at the table.
Yes.
And do what?
Make sure they sign in, make sure they put the right amount of information on the paper for us.
What is this information?
The name, telephone number, and how
Okay.
many children you have.
Oh, okay.
And then once they sign
Now, what if
in,
it's a senior that doesn't have children, they're by themselves, an older person?
they gotta have grandchildren, so we're feeding the grandbabies
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yes, and then once they sign in, what we're gonna do this year is instead of them coming to each station we're gonna have it already boxed up or bagged up for them. So all they have to do is just get the box.
That would go
Exactly.
faster.
Yes.
That would go faster. So youth are bigger than life. The food drive is tomorrow. Not food drive, food giveaway
Grocery giveaway.
is tomorrow, December 14th at 10 o'clock at Pershing High School in the parking lot, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Is there any way anybody else could get any information? Probably Facebook, right?
Facebook, Instagram, and we got a website, youtharebiggerthanlife.com.
Youtharebiggerthanlife.com. Thank you all for doing what you do.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, always. This is the third time. We're family now.
Definitely.
So we'll be back. We have an interesting show, everyone. We have Miss Patty Turner, who's going to be here with Shay Stephen. A lot of you have seen Shay Stephen. He played Marvin Gaye in Pride and Joy. And then we have a woman, she's supposed to be here. Her name, they call her Big 50. She's from the BET Plus show, American Gangster Trap Queens, I think it is. I got to see that. But anyway, I'm excited to interview them all. So we'll be back very shortly with a very special table talk.